important questions for exam 2019, and 2017 paper is not on internet. Next is important to you is 2015, 13, 11, 9, 7 and 5. These are 6 years that I will dictate you the questions of question number 3 and question number 4. Question 3 comes from stories or chapters, and question number 4 comes from scene passage from chapters. So this is for English compulsory subject BA, BSc and BCOM, and best wishes for your exam and result. You can note your importance for exam 2019. First paper is 2005. Question number 3. First is, in the story Early Autumn, why does Mary name her son Bill? What does this suggest about their former relationship? Second, why did Laurie invent Charles? 3. Who writes the Clotilde letters to Bertie? For whom are the letters actually mean to be, and why? Next, question number 3, chapter questions of 2007. How did the writer's mother in London Road feel about his leaving home? How did she show her feelings? Question, what was the surprise ending to the story of an hour? What role did Clove play in resolving Bertie's problem? Next, what was Mrs. Mallard's first reaction to the news of her husband's alleged death? How did she react later on? Next question, why did Mary and Bill Walker not marry when they were young? What effect did the youthful breakup have on each of them? Next, what was Bertie's problem? How did Clovis solve that? Next is, what role did Clovis play in resolving Bertie's problem? What are some of the characteristics of Charles? Does Laurie's mother ever meet Charles' mother? What was Mrs. Mallard's first reaction to the news of her husband's alleged death? Next question, why did Laurie invent the devilish character of Charles? Discuss. Mrs. Mallard died because of joy in the story of an hour. Discuss. Why was Mary's youngest son named Bill in the story Early Autumn? Do you agree with the doctor that Mrs. Mallard died from a shock of extreme happiness? Who suffers most from the quarrel between Bill and Mary? What was the story made by Laurie? And who was really Charles? So this was question number 3 that comes from chapters or stories. Now for question number 4, scene comprehension questions. Write the title of the text from which the above passage has been taken. Next is, how did gorillas get a bad reputation? Next, what is writer's own belief about gorillas? Next is, give the meaning of the underlined word in the passage. Underlined word are nightmare, inoffensive, vegetarian. Passages in the 1930s, Hollywood built it into nightmare with the film King Kong, in which a gigantic ape was captured and then eventually terrorized New York. What a libel that reputation is. By nature, they are gentle and inoffensive animals. They are almost entirely vegetarian and spend their days eating leaves and juicy stems in the thick forest of Africa. They live in family groups, each ruled by a big male who looks after and protects his family with great care. They are, it is true, immensely strong, but their strength is hardly ever used against other animals. Next passage for scene comprehension. Each hurriedly sought his seat, and the utmost silence prevailed. For the first time, a lecture was given without the slightest interruption, and every word could be heard as distinctly as it would be if there had been but a single person in the room. The sudden transformation of this class from a band of lawless desperadoes to gentlemen by the mere presence of a lady proved to be permanent in its effects. Question number 1 here, name the text from which the above passage has been taken. Next question, what is the door referred to it in the title? What is the door referred to in the title of the text? When did the utmost silence prevail? Next question is, what class what was it and who was the lady? Next question, unseen comprehension. The first day alone, and now I was really alone at last. Steadily declined in the excitement and vigor as I trampled through the dust towards the Walshire downs. A growing reluctance weighed me down. Through the solitary morning and afternoon, I found myself longing for some opposition or rescue, for the sound of hurrying footsteps coming after me and family voices calling me back. First question, identify the text from which the passage is taken. Second question, what was the first day referred to in the passage of the writer? Third question, for each of the words or phrase, find words or phrases in the passage with a similar meaning. First is wanting something very much. Second, a lack of interest in. Third, pressed or bored me down. Fourth, something that will stop you from going forward, an obstacle. Next question, scene comprehension. The stopping figure of my mother, waist deep in the grass and caught there like a piece of sheep's wool, was the last I saw of my country home, as I left it to discover the world. She stood old and bent at the top of the bank, slightly watching me go, one gnarled red hand raised in farewell and blessing, not questioning why I went. At the bend of the road, I looked back again and saw the gold light die behind her. Then I turned the corner, passed the village school, and closed that part of my life forever. First question, name the lesson from which the above passage has been taken. Second question, what was the mother of the author doing? Next question, why did the author leave his country home? Next question was, what part of his life did the writer close forever? Next, scene comprehension. One morning, unexpectedly, a lady entered the lecture room with the dean. She was quiet and officered, plainly dressed. I'm missing out the word because of the print. Okay, next is plainly dressed, appeared different and determined expression on her face. Her entry into the ballroom of confusion acted like magic on every student. Each hurriedly sought his seat and utmost silence prevailed. For the first time the lecture was given without the slightest interruption, and every word could be heard as distinctly as it would be if there had been but a single person in the room. The sudden transformation of the class from a band of lawless desperadoes to gentlemen by the mere presence of a lady proved to be permanent in its effects. This is repeated. In the first question, the name of the lady referred to in the passage. Second question, the title of the text from which the passage is taken. Third, justify the title of the story, how the lady opened a new era for hope for her contemporary girls. New era of hope for her contemporary girls. Next question, express the dramatic and beneficial effect on the students. How long did it last? Next question, portray in your own words the four qualities of the above mentioned lady. Next, scene comprehension is, in the 1930s, Hollywood built it into a nightmare with the film King Kong, in which gigantic ape was captured and then eventually terrorized New York. What a libel that reputation is. By nature they are gentle and inoffensive animals. They are almost entirely vegetarian and spend their days eating leaves and juicy stems in the thick forest of Africa. They live in family groups, each ruled by a big male who each ruled by a big male who looks after and protects his family with great care. It is true, immensely strong, but their strength is hardly ever used against other animals. This is also repeated. First question, give the meaning of the underlined words. Gigantic is the first word, captured second, vegetarian third. Next question, how did gorillas get a bad reputation? Next question, what is the writer's personal feelings about gorillas? Next question, do gorillas live alone or in groups? Next question, refer to the title of the text from which the passage is taken. So this is all. I hope you like this video, and I have told questions from first 2005, then 2007, 2009, 11, 13, and 15. So these are 6 years. If you like this kind of support for you all, like, share the video and comment us below. For next videos, subscribe the channel. Thanks.